So we've been saying President Obama being inaugurated officially today, and a lot of economic challenges on his plate, Matthew.
Yes, that's right. Two major challenges for the president are the debt pile of the country and also the unemployment rate. And the US is edging closer to the limit of how much debt it can have. That's known as the debt ceiling, and it's currently at $16.4 trillion. Now, Congress must agree to raise that level by the end of February. Otherwise, the country risks a default. Well, there have been some positive movements. Republicans in the House of Representatives saying that they are prepared to vote and approve a short-term increase to get the country through the next 3 months, but they want to see a proper budget plan passed in that time. So a bit of breathing space there for Congress and President Obama, but a deal not yet done on that.
And as you say, the other problem, jobs.
Yes, jobs, and this was a huge theme during the campaign between Barack Obama and Mitt Romney. Let's take a look at the unemployment rate since Barack Obama assumed power 4 years ago, and you can see it went up and back down again. It's just under 8%, so that is another big challenge for him. He says that he's going to create 1 million new manufacturing jobs by the end of his term.
Okay, we can cheer him up on his big day a little bit, Barack Obama. Some good news actually coming from the car market for him.
Yes, the car market in the US has been having quite a positive rebound, and the annual auto show opened to the public in Detroit this weekend, and manufacturers there are feeling pretty optimistic. Sales were up 13% last year, and many are hoping for a record bunch of sales this year. This report from Claire Murphy.
Searching for green shoots in the US economy? Then look no further than the car industry. As the American public descends on the Detroit show, manufacturers and dealers reflect on a difficult 4 years. But they predict 2013 will be when it gets much easier to move the metal.
Confidence is beginning to build with the US customer, and I believe that we're going to start to see some good things happen.
Before the 2009 slowdown, annual sales in the US regularly topped 17 million units. But the industry is now optimistic that sales volumes are back on track. Even luxury models are now back in demand, making up 12% of sales last year. Car makers also predict consumers will be opting for more fuel-friendly vehicles.
A combination of the efficiencies and what the manufacturers are doing and actually getting more in tune with the consumer, along with the ability of the consumer to buy in the U.S. and the economy improving, I think we could hit 15 million cars.
Reasons for the upturn: credit is available again, interest rates are low, and the fact that with deferred purchases, people's vehicles are now simply getting old. But car companies are also having to work much harder to catch the consumer's eye. At Detroit, a total of 59 new models and concepts are being unveiled. That's up from just 41 new offerings last year.
What about the markets then, Matthew? How did they end on Wall Street last week?
Markets on Wall Street had a pretty good week. In fact, the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones both reached 5-year highs. They haven't been as high as that since December 2007. Encouraging news on the debt ceilings, I was saying earlier. Also, some good company results helped with that. Now, markets will be closed this Monday in the US. It's Martin Luther King Day, as well as being the inauguration of Barack Obama. But there are some big earnings reports out this week. Google, Apple, IBM, so investors will be looking very closely at those. Asian markets, we can take a look at what's been happening in the trading day there this Monday. And it's a mixed picture because you'll see the Nikkei in Tokyo has been down pretty sharply. Now, it was at a 2.5-year high on Friday. Also, the Bank of Japan is meeting, so a bit of nervousness around that. Otherwise, Asian markets pretty flat. Well, let's get some of the day's company news now. And investigators say that a battery that caught fire in a Boeing 787 Dreamliner was not overcharged. The battery is being studied after the fire on a Japan Airlines flight. The aircraft has been grounded after a number of incidents. Investigators are now focusing on problems with wiring or other charging components.
And those problems at Boeing causing a series of flight cancellations. Japan's All Nippon Airways says it will cancel 335 flights this week. That's going to affect 48,000 passengers. One of the airline's flights forced to land, of course, last Wednesday due to a smoke alert.
And the founder of a file-sharing website that was shut down has sprung back into life. Kim.com, there he is, has launched his site called Mega at a conference in New Zealand. Now, his previous venture, Mega Upload, was shut by prosecutors who said it facilitated illegal downloads. .com says at this time he can't be touched by legal problems.
Now, we've got an important figure in the ongoing euro crisis set to be appointed today, haven't we?
Yes, now this is for a group that's known as the Eurogroup. These are the finance ministers from the 17 countries that use the euro, and they will be meeting those finance ministers in Brussels today. Now, they've had a leader for the last 8 years, Jean-Claude Juncker, who's both the Luxembourg Prime Minister and the finance minister. Actually, he's stepping down after those 8 years. Who can blame him after everything the euro has been
tough
through?
8 years, yeah.
That's right, and there's a new person who's likely to be approved, not certain yet, but likely to be approved today. He's the relatively inexperienced Dutch finance minister. This report from Oliver Farry.
He's in line to be the next president of the Eurogroup, and Dutch Finance Minister Jeroen Dijsselbloem already has one influential backer, outgoing President Jean-Claude Juncker. The 46-year-old met Juncker in Luxembourg on Friday.
So we had a meeting, not the first one we had, as we are sitting together all the time and as we are phoning around the clock. The Dutch finance minister presented his candidature, which is a good one, and the decision will be taken on next month.
The Eurogroup has become an increasingly influential body in recent years, arbitrating on bailout plans for members such as Greece, Portugal and Ireland. Dijsselbloem has the support of some of the Eurozone's AAA-rated members, such as Germany and Finland, but others are more sceptical. France is one. Finance Minister Pierre Moscovici said this week he wanted to know more about Dijsselbloem's agenda. The Netherlands has been one of the main advocates within the Eurozone of austerity and economic reform. The Dutchman says he is willing to address any French concerns.
My French colleague has asked for a presentation on Monday on the vision on the Eurogroup, and I'm very glad to give that on Monday. So I think that's a very reasonable request from the French colleagues. So we'll do that.
The decision on the appointment will be taken on Monday when Eurozone finance ministers meet in Brussels. Dijsselbloem is the only candidate so far to step forward. His inexperience may count against him. His ministerial career began only 2 months ago.
And to end the business news this hour, we're bringing you a top France 24 tip today. It's especially for you if you happen to be designing a new banknote. It's a good idea to get your national symbol right. Is that right, Matthew?
Absolutely right. This is a story a bit like if they've sort of got the Eiffel Tower in the wrong shape or something. This is the Bank of Canada. There you can see some new banknotes. They've got the Queen on them. I think they have the right Queen on there.
They have the right Queen.
But there's also the wrong maple leaf, which, of course, is a very important symbol of Canada. Why is it wrong? Well, a botanist is claiming that the leaf is, in fact, a Norwegian maple leaf. Let's take a listen to him and what he's got to say.
We wouldn't think of putting a palm tree on the Canadian currency, or a tiger or baboon or something that doesn't occur in Canada as a native species, and I think the same should go for Norway maple.
Now, the bank has defended itself. It said that it wasn't supposed to be any particular kind of maple leaf. It's supposed to be a combination of the different types, because the Norwegian one apparently does grow in Canada as well. But a few red faces, I think, there.
Red
the Bank of Canada.
And blue maple leaves, which aren't quite the right shape. All right, thank you very much, Matthew. Matthew with the business. Latest news from Lorna after the break. Stay with us.